have your attention, please? We have a problem on our hands, and we're going to need your cooperation for this.
All right, we're here at the New Brunswick City Hall for the Board of Ethics meeting tonight at 5 p.m., which is a couple minutes ago, and the doors are locked.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's not evidence. I'm going to reject it as evidence.
Isn't it the board's job to decide?
No, it's my job to make a recommendation. I'm the hearing officer that's conducting the hearing for the board with full authority from the board.
No, okay. If Rutgers is if in any of these applications where if it was alleged that Rutgers is an applicant, then what happened in those, because I've been completely open and transparent. I've been the tennis coach for I'm in my 12th year as the head coach. I was an assistant coach. This is a little distracting.
This is a joke. This is an embarrassment. You got to follow your own rules. I'm just trying to follow the rules. That's why I was sticking up for Mr. Bucca. You were trying to twist the rules in a way that would have the proceeding not be full and fair. Reverend Hooper obviously didn't think it was important enough to be here tonight. So I would like to...
I don't think you have a comment upon members. Yet, if you want to comment upon something that's pending before the board, please don't criticize members of the board that are present to even defend themselves.
Mr. Vignolo, please do not interrupt me. This is a public...
I'm sorry, so this is public comment. It's not public criticism of board members.
Is this the United States of America? Do I have the right to speak on this topic?
No, you have a right to speak, but to criticize the members that are not here, we don't think that's appropriate.
I think it is appropriate to criticize someone who is on this board. This board has not had a hearing in 20 years. You have your first hearing in 20 years. He's here for the hearing, but he's not here for the vote? What kind of ethics board is this?
It's an ethics board that's functioning to the best of their ability.
The last hearing, can you provide the transcript? Was there a certified shorthand reporter present? Or was there an approved tape transcription device operated by a qualified operator at the hearing?
Last hearing?
Yeah, the hearing.
There was no stenographic reporter present. You were here. There was a tape recording device that was here. I don't see it here tonight. I don't know the location of that tape or recording that was made.
Okay, I'll read from this board's operating procedures. Its public hearings shall be recorded verbatim either by a CSR, certified shorthand reporter, or by an approved tape transcription device operated by a qualified operator. Was that the case?
No.
No, so you did not follow that part of the board's operating procedures. Can I ask why?
You may recall you specifically communicated with me to confirm that what you wanted to have read publicly, repeated publicly by way of an audio recording that you were going to offer, did not offer at the time of the hearing, could be transcribed, could be audioly reproduced at the meeting. And I said to you, we would have a recording device here, and we did. Again, there was no operator here, but it's the same recording device that is used for council meetings and the planning board meetings. What the status of that recording device is, where it records in this building, I don't know the answer.
Was there an audio recording made?
There was a recording. I said I don't know the status of it, or where it is, or its condition.
Well,
there was a recording device. It was here. You saw it. We had it available because you had requested in advance the opportunity to utilize it. And you pointed out to me that other recordings are made through other systems for other purposes. You mentioned council meetings where an audio device could be utilized, and so I presume that was the same device that was used.
Okay, and so for the record, there was no audio recording made. The equipment you're talking about is a speaker. It's a microphone and a speaker. There's not a recording device.
That's your understanding. That's not my understanding.
With all due respect, sir, those recordings need to be made available before you render your verdict. You're supposed to be able to look through the transcripts. That's why this is in here. You didn't make a transcript, and now I notice, is there a CSR or an approved tape transcription device here tonight? There is. So why didn't you have her here for the hearing?
Just for the record, I don't know what the problem is, but I know, you seem to be able to to understand English, and you seem to be able to visualize things and see things. There's a reporter here,
Thank you.
she's been here since the outset, so for you to ask a question, a rhetorical question, is there one here, is sort of silly. And so if you have an agenda other than ask, this is the public comment. If you'd like to comment upon the decision, if you'd like to comment upon something that's pending before the
Yes.
board, this is your opportunity.
Okay, thank you. I would like to comment on both things, and I'm suggesting that this decision was based on a hearing that was improperly conducted. The hearing was not conducted in accordance with your own operating procedures, and I have not been given a satisfactory explanation of why. If you hire a court reporter tonight to be here for this, why wasn't she here for the hearing?
Okay, is there anything else that you want to say about this?
I'd like an answer to my question. Does this ethics board have an answer to the question?
It's not going to offer an answer this evening. Is there anything else?
Okay, so you violated your own rules on that count. I'd like to point out that some of these matters could have been remedied had your attorney not restricted me from raising procedural objections. If you recall, I began my remarks at the hearing by raising a concern that Mr. Vignolo had given you bad advice.
That's a moot
Your
point.
attorney...
That's incredible. It's a moot point. The decision of the board was by 2/3.
Sir,
Is there
could you
something else?
please stop interrupting?
No, I want
This
you
is
to
outrageous.
you
I have the floor. Do not interrupt
How
me.
long do you think you have the floor?
I have.
How long
If you
do
keep
you-
interrupting me, you'll make it take longer. So please stop interrupting me and allow me to just restate what happened that night. What happened that night was I tried to raise an objection about that, and exactly what is happening now happened. Mr. Vignolo rudely interrupted me, cut me off, and told me it was inappropriate to raise any procedural objections. The next sentence says, however, in order to further a full and fair inquiry, the board shall solicit written questions from members of the public and, subject to their propriety, relevance, and admissibility, pose such questions to a witness prior to his/her dismissal as a witness. Can you tell me, Madam Chair, did you solicit written questions from members of the public that night?
Not from the public, no. But we did get enough evidence from yourself and the other, Mr. Bucher.
Were there other members of the public present that night who were not witnesses?
Mr. Craddock, why are you asking any rhetorical questions?
Okay, I'm asking because it seems you violated Section C of your own procedures. There were members of the public here. There were witnesses that were about to testify. It says that you had to solicit those questions prior to the witnesses being dismissed. And you didn't. Did you?
No, we didn't.
Why did you violate your own
Members of the
procedures?
public were asked, we asked if there were members of the public that wanted to speak. Only one person stood up. In the absence of questions being offered orally, none were solicited written.
So you're saying that you didn't solicit because no one offered. That's not what solicit means. Solicit means you're supposed to ask. You did not ask the members of the public.
Mr. Craddock, we have 5 more minutes, and then we're going to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, so I will do my best to be quick here.
Well, the record should reflect that you've been speaking for 15 minutes, but go ahead.
Okay, let the record reflect that. This board hasn't had a hearing in 20
I
years.
just want the record to reflect that because I don't want the record to seem that you've been cut off in some way. You've already been talking for 15 minutes, so it's not inappropriate to say,
Okay,
please bring it to a
well-
close.
Well, so I would suggest that the board and your attorney ought to read the operating procedures before you have another one of these. You should have had a court reporter here. You should have solicited questions from the public. And I would suggest that if you ever need a special counsel again, this would be the last person you should pick. He's given you bad advice, he's led the board astray, and you have now made a very, very poor decision here that likely will be appealed and likely will make the board look bad.